Hey everybody, the following video is a really quick and down and dirty tutorial on how to Zoom. I wanted to get this out there to all of you and get it out there quickly because I realize that in our new remote working situation, in the social distancing scenario that we're facing right now, that many of you may not know how to run a video conference. You may not know how to run a video meeting, but it's an excellent way for us to stay in touch, either on a human to human, person to person basis, or meeting with a client, or running a meeting for an organization that you belong to. One of the things that I'm seeing and I'm hearing a lot is that associations across the country, no matter what it is that you belong to, you're starting to cancel meetings, you're starting to cancel programs, and understandably so. People need to distance themselves socially. But my question is, if you're one of these associations, how do you continue to provide value for your members and for your sponsors in the short term, or even whatever short term or long term means going into the future? You can host meetings, you can host programs via Zoom or any other video conferencing platform. So what I wanted to do is put this quick tutorial together that shows you how to sign up and how to plan and run and launch your first Zoom meeting. So I hope you enjoy it. If you want to know more, please contact me. My information is in the notes below. Let's figure out how to stick together, how to do this together, how to help each other, and how to stay connected via Zoom or any other video conferencing platform. Hi, everybody. This is a quick tutorial on setting up from the very beginning, signing up for Zoom and running your first Zoom meeting. It's pretty easy. It's pretty simple. So this shouldn't take very long, and it shouldn't be very painful. So if we go to Zoom, over here, obviously on the top left, there's the plans and pricing tab. We can click on that. I would think about two different options. Many of you can probably use a basic free Zoom account. You can see it allows you to host up to 100 participants, unlimited one-to-one meetings. The big caveat for a free Zoom meeting is that you can have as many people, up to 100, on the meeting as you want. However, if it's more than a one-to-one meeting, your meeting will be limited to 40 minutes. You'll have all the video and audio capabilities and everything, but your meeting can only last 40 minutes. If you know that you're going to have multiple people on the call, more than you and one other person, and you need more than 40 minutes worth of meeting time, I would really look at the pro options, $14.99 a month. As someone that I was talking to just a little while ago said, hey, if it saves you one trip to meet with a client or a customer, it's totally worth it. $14.99 a month is not much if we compare it to driving somewhere, meeting somewhere, etc. So the great thing about the pro option is, again, you have 100 participants. You can do all the video, all the audio, and it can run for up to 24 hours. If you're having 24-hour long meetings, there's probably some other things we ought to talk about. That being said, sign up, pick one of those options, sign up, create your account. It'll be an email and a password sort of situation, just like always. Once you're signed up, obviously you can click sign in. Mine automatically populates, so my email, my password, and I'm going to hit sign in here. And this brings me to the dashboard inside Zoom. And this is the account we're looking at right now is a free account. So the important things are over here on your left, the menus on your left. I guess the most important thing really is your meetings. Click on the meetings tab there. Here are the ones that I have scheduled already, but since you're just starting, you need to click on schedule a meeting. So you click that button. First, you can name it, give it a topic. I say, hey, my meeting sounds great. This as a description, this is the meeting to talk about the project downtown, just as a description. I need to pick a date and a time, so I'm going to say tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's going to be an hour-long meeting, or it's going to be a 30-minute long meeting, whatever you choose. Zoom should default to your home time zone, but you can change that if you like. I'm going to leave it where it is. I can even set this up as a recurring meeting by clicking this box. You know, how often does it occur? It's every day, it's every week, it's every month, or it's sitting there ready for me anytime that I want. So it's no fixed time, but you have lots of options there. You know, just like sort of like creating a calendar event on Outlook or Google Calendar, whatever you use. You can, scrolling down a little bit further, I always have it automatically generate a meeting ID. I don't really see a need for personalized IDs, but if you want to, go for it. I don't typically require a password, even though this is wanting to generate one for me automatically. The reason I don't is because I typically send a link to a person. I don't usually publish the link for the public to see. So if I'm meeting with you, I send you the link and so on and so forth. But you can have it generate a password if you like. Next category down is video. This is basically when you start the meeting, is the video automatically going to come on for you? You're the host. You can turn it on, you can turn it off, and the participants. Now, I will say, so today is March 18th, Wednesday. We're in the middle of the coronavirus crisis, and one of the things that Zoom has had to do to deal with increased bandwidth usage is they have, in some cases, eliminated the ability to call in to a Zoom meeting from a telephone. So I do like to be able to see people. That's one of the main reasons for using a video meeting software. So I like to have these buttons clicked. Now, if you want to turn it on and make sure you've got yourself fixed up before your video comes on, that's fine. I would suggest, this may seem a little bit cruel, but I would suggest that you click on for your participants just to encourage them to have their video on, because I think that face-to-face interaction is important. The next category down gets to that. Right now, Zoom is eliminating sometimes that telephone access, so you might want to pick computer audio as your source, but you can always pick both. Like I said, I've said it a couple times now, Zoom may not allow your attendees to dial up from a phone right now just because of bandwidth issues. 2 weeks ago, that wasn't even a conversation. You could join using your computer audio, you could call in from your phone, whatever, but obviously the usage has really, really ramped up and expanded. And then here's some important checkboxes as well. Do you want your guests to be able to join the meeting before you get there? What if you're running a minute or two late? If you're running late and they click on the link and you're not there, it's going to tell them, hey, you're waiting for the host. If you click enable to join, they can pop in to the meeting environment before you get there and simply wait on you. If you're running a big meeting, you may want to mute the participants on entry, which then obviously would force them to unmute themselves in order to say something to the group. So this is a good way to control the chaos at the very beginning. You can enable a waiting room so that people, when they sign in, they go into a waiting room and you have to accept them in. That's a interesting little feature. I don't know that it's necessary all the time. And then there's a button to record the meeting automatically on your local computer. So if you, especially right now, Zoom's having a real problem processing virtually recorded meetings. So right now, it definitely suggests that you click this box if you want to record the meeting. You can. I'll show you. You can click a button to record it while you're in the meeting, but this would simply start recording it automatically as you start the meeting. So once you've made all those decisions, you've scheduled it, you've described it, you've decided how you want it to operate, then you hit save, and you get sort of the synopsis. Kind of gives you a review of what you've done there. Here's a really important feature here in the middle of the page. Here it says copy the invitation. So I'm going to click on that. And what pops up is the script here. This is what you email to people. This is what you put into a calendar invite. So if you just come down and hit copy meeting invitation, now that's copied it to your clipboard. And so you can see if you send this to someone, it says, okay, well, hey, Jeff is inviting you to this meeting. Here's the topic. Remember, I just used the default. It's my meeting. Here's the time that we're meeting. And here's the link that you need to click on. If a meeting ID is required, here it is. If a password is required, here it is. Now, I'll note that if you send them the link and they click on the link, that shouldn't be required. One of the great features of Zoom is if you are dialing in, I wouldn't suggest that right now, but if you are dialing in, this will show as a number that you can simply click on your smartphone and it will dial you all the way through. It will put in the meeting ID, it'll put in the password if required, it'll hit the pound sign, and it'll go all the way through, so you don't have to go back and forth. Oh, what was that meeting ID? I need to dial that in. That one tap mobile is a lifesaver for people dialing in. And then of course if people want to for some reason find a different number, they can click on that last link down there. But by and large, the about a third of the way down this link right here, join Zoom meeting, that's the most important thing in this entire script. So you copy that. Then you can go to a calendar invite if you want. You can create an invite and just paste it in there and send that to somebody. So that's really the long and the short of creating and inviting somebody. I'm going to cancel out of that. And then now I'm going to show you what it looks like to actually be in a meeting and run a meeting. So I'm going to start this meeting. Here's a meeting. I call it my virtual meeting, obviously. Let's just say I've sent this out to somebody. We're going to have a meeting. So all I need to do is hit start. It pops up. For some reason, there's this pop-up now that wants you to verify. I'm going to open Zoom. And it'll pop up, and here I am. It tells me I'm using the computer audio. I've got my earbuds plugged into my computer. So all that's working. Some controls to pay attention to. Down here on the left are your microphone controls. If you want to mute yourself, you simply click it. Now I'm muted. If you want to change your microphone, for instance, let me just plug in a different microphone. If I plug in my big microphone and turn it on, it tells me now my default microphone has changed. And you see it pop up on the list here. And then speakers, I'm using my earbuds, like I said, so it's going to those earbuds. I can change that to the speakers on my computer if I want. There's a way to test your sound. Do you hear the ringtone? Do you not? Pretty straightforward controls there. On the video side, I can click this to stop video. I can click it to turn the video back on. And then there'll be some options there depending on your computer setup. Who's on the call right now? Nobody. It's just me. But if there are other people, I can click on this Manage Participants. It'll pop out a window here on my right. It'll list the participants. This is very handy if you're running the meeting and you have someone that's in a noisy background and you can't get them to mute themselves. You can click this to mute them. You're in control, so you can mute them if you need to. You can also request their camera turned on and turned off. So those are some pretty handy things. If we weren't recording the meeting automatically, here's the button over here to record the meeting if you need to do that. Again, I suggest you record it to your computer instead of to the cloud, especially right now. Chat box. Pretty standard on most platforms like this. People can type a message. They can choose, does it go to everyone or does it just go to a certain attendee? You won't see that because there's just me on the call right now. But if there were two, I could change it from everyone to another participant, and we could chat. We can ask questions. We can share links, those types of things. And then the other very, very, very useful feature is the share screen button. So down here in the green, right down here in the middle, if I hit share, I don't even know what I have. It'll show me what my options are to share something. So right now, really, it's just my Chrome. So if I if I click on that and then come down here and hit share, now anybody else that were on the meeting right now, on the call right now, they would see my screen as I see it here. So I can, if I want to share a PowerPoint, a keynote, if I have a program where I want to draw something, whatever the situation is, you can share that, and the other people on the call, on the meeting, will see that. Now up here in the top in the middle is stop share to go back to the way you were. And really, I think the last thing you need to know is down here in the bottom right corner is end a meeting. So if I click that, do I want to just leave, or do I want to end it for everybody? Well, it's my meeting. I'm running it. I'm controlling it. So I say I'm ending the meeting for all. And it goes away. And so that's really it. That's the ins and outs. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. But that's how you run a Zoom meeting. The last thing, set up and then run a Zoom meeting. The last thing I want to do real quickly, I'm going to go back to a meeting real quickly. Let's just go over a couple of real basics and a little bit of etiquette. As you can see, most people won't have a setup like I do. I've got a very clean background behind me. I have lots of lighting around me. I have good earbuds plugged in. Sometimes I have my microphone that I use. There are a few keys. Number one, clean up your background. Right? Don't leave your laundry hanging behind you or whatever the situation is. Number two, have good lighting. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be professional. Don't sit with a window to your back so you're backlit. You just look like the profile on a blank Facebook profile page. Have decent lighting in front of you, to a side. It doesn't have to be professional, but just light yourself from the front so it looks somewhat professional. Have a good microphone. Have good earbuds. I always encourage earbuds, so it really eliminates any of the feedback or echoing. But those are some real quality things. Have a good background. Just clean. Doesn't have to be this clean, but don't have the laundry back there. Have good lighting. Have good sound. And I guess those are the big things, really. If it looks decent, if it sounds decent, people won't be distracted. You'll get your point across, and you'll have a decent meeting. So I think that's it. I think those are really the key points to touch on, and I hope this helps.